tonight is really cool. He even sings, "Don't Be Cruel." John Monforto is this guy's name. Over 30 impressions brought him the fame. Elvis and Sinatra, The Godfather too. He even does Rocky, just to name a few. Parody music he also writes. Make one for Rocky during his fights. You started at age 8, way back in the day. Way back. Cassette recorders, what you would play. I had them too. When Dad got home, Mom would say, "Come sing for Dad, come make his day." Baritone opera, this man can sing, as in light opera, not the real thing. John's done a lot, wait till you hear. Elvis, Murder Mystery, The King Without Fear. Dinner theater shows, you write and perform. Your talents, my friend, are out of the norm. On Elvis billboards across Europe and more, produced by Sony. Damn, John, what a score. Your biggest show now is your one-man show, becoming your trademark for the world to know. You also opened in Vegas. Dana Carvey was the man. Did you impersonate him? I bet he's now a big fan. You also performed on Howard Stern show. Either you're good or someone you know. Let's now mention Debbie. Your better half is she. You said so yourself, or nothing you'd be. High school sweethearts down the aisle to share. Then got divorced, then remarried, I hear. I'm not going to touch that. Probably your fault. I'm not one to, on an injury, add salt. All kidding aside, a family you grew. 3 daughters, 5 grands in the making for you. You both performed on cruises. A showgirl Debbie was. John was the singer. You both were all the buzz. New Orleans House of Blues. John Belushi's the man. Blues Brothers joined in. I was really a fan. Debbie was part of it, Jim Belushi's handler all day. You and Debbie had a blast with these greats got to play. Debbie loves Disney, obsessed one might say. She'd rather see Minnie and Mickey today. She's obsessed with her weight, not really sure why. Debbie, you're gorgeous, your limit's the sky. John says you handle all of his stuff. Without you beside him, his life would be rough. A career he wouldn't have if it weren't for you. To him, you're his rock. You keep him on cue. When you take your last breath, when God calls you home, he'll welcome you both. In heaven, you'll roam. This is for you guys.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that was awesome.
Wonderful.
I thought I could do these things well. That was
That is beautiful.
Thank you so
Jerry.
much.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
all right, so what would you like to share with us? I mean, I'll ask you some questions, of course. Ava will ask you some questions, but my fans are out there saying, what does this guy do? I mean, what would you like to share with us?
That's it's kind of a loaded question because
Yes.
I wear a ton of hats all the time, so I do what is asked of me when the time arrives, so.
Oh, okay, so we'll start with that. So, can you please sing Elvis?
Wise men say only fools rush in, for I can't help falling in love with you.
You know, I got to say something. That was really beautiful. We know a lot of ETAs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that
we do.
was really beautiful.
Thank you. I mean, thank you. Thank you very much.
There it is.
Yeah, you got to see him in full costume and performing. He's amazing.
That's
Well, I
one of
did
the
some
fun.
stalking of your Facebook.
Yeah.
That's one of the fun. I love doing Elvis because Elvis is one of those timeless characters that I kind of latched on to by accident. I got
Okay,
to tell you
tell
the
us.
story. I was a singing waiter in Manhattan way back, and at a restaurant right on Restaurant Row, a place called Great Aunt Fanny's. So this was a theater restaurant type of place where when you're not busy with your section, you can go to the piano and sing a song. So my roommate and I both worked there, and we were all hanging around doing nothing. He says, "John, let's go up and sing." I said, "Okay, what do you want to do?" He said, "Let's do Elvis, man." I said,
How old
dude."
were you guys?
Well, I was 21.
Okay, in your 20s.
Wait a minute, we weren't. Yeah. in our
Last year,
20s.
right?
It's about 20.
Last year.
Yeah, last year. Thank you very much. So he said, "Get up, let's do Elvis." I said, "Man, I don't know Elvis. He said, just shut up. He said, look. He said, let's do All Shook Up. He said, wiggle your legs. He said, and then when I point you, you sing All Shook Up. I said, okay. So we're wiggling around. He points to me. So long story short, sitting in my section is a woman who booked for the cruise lines. And what do you think she was looking for?
An Elvis impersonator.
Exactly. 2 weeks later, I'm in Miami being fitted for a jumpsuit. I had never done Elvis before.
No, wait, seriously.
Seriously.
I want to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
So you're telling me not only did you never do Elvis before, your friend made you do it,
Yep.
spur of the moment. It wasn't even like you had time to practice.
Right.
And you got booked based on that.
Based on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You
That's
know
cool.
what that means, right? That means you're a natural.
Well,
You
I'm.
can't really learn something like that.
No.
I
Like
agree. I
off
think
the
I'll
cuff.
agree with you on that
Yes.
because that's one of those things that, and when I tell the story, a lot of people say that's the same thing with. I forget the star. There was a female star who was sitting at a soda fountain,
Okay.
and I forget who it was, but same thing happened to her. She just had a look or a voice that they were looking for, and the next thing you know, she's in a major motion picture. So, yeah, I agree with you there.
So where should we hang out so that happens to us?
I know.
Did anyone see the special the other night? The Elvis special?
Not yet.
Did you record it?
Yeah, my
Yeah,
daughter
I
for
did
me.
too. I watched it. It's really good. You'll
What
like
is
it.
it? What
They did like a lot of major stars did a tribute to the 50th anniversary of the 68 comeback special. So it was really nice. They kind of infused
Very nice.
Elvis in it and then a current star take like right at the same time. It was really cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I can't wait to see
Yeah,
it.
it was pretty good.
Can't wait to see it. So when that happened, I still want to talk about that
Yeah,
because that's
sure.
really cool to me. Is this okay? My voice? Okay, because I can't hear. It's weird. All right. So let me talk to you about that a minute. So she approaches you and she says, "I want to put you on a cruise." Were you nervous?
Of course, yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
but it didn't stop you.
No.
Okay.
It did not at all. I mean, she didn't. Honestly, she didn't say anything that night. I got a call a couple days
Yeah.
later. So when they told me about it, I said, "Okay, you always say yes."
Always say yes.
That's
Figure
right.
it out later.
Yeah, yes, of course I can do that.
Yeah.
And then I hung up and I went to my roommate and I said, "What am I going to do?" He said, "What do you mean? What are you going to do? You're going to do what you did in the restaurant."
That's right.
He said, "You can do whatever they want." He said, "You sing?" Yeah. He said, "Don't worry about the movement. You'll get it. Just watch some Elvis stuff." And that's how it happened, really.
So just think about what he just said. You know, I love to inspire people, and I love letting people understand that you have to know your worth. That's major. with me.
KYW.
KYW, know your worth. If this man said no, he may not be where he is today. But you always say yes, and always have it in your mind that you can do it. So that's really a cool story for me.
Yeah, it's a cool story for me, too. It's a great memory. And you're absolutely right. I mean, even though I felt like I wasn't even sure kind of a little bit, I just didn't even hesitate to say yes.
See?
That's why I'm in New York. I'm in New York to do something. So, very exciting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
So the cruise went well, I'm sure.
Cruise went extremely well.
Okay. And
They
you shook it up.
Yeah.
He did.
I'm all shook up. They loved everything I did. I didn't just do Elvis. I was part of their, it was called the Sea Legs Review. So they had about 6 dancing girls. We would change costume, then we'd perform. So I would do lots of different things. And then, eventually, I got her to come on. And that's where she did the showgirl stuff.
So wait, were you guys dating in your 20s?
We were engaged.
Engaged.
And I said, get on this ship.
Okay.
Come back till you get the
Yeah.
job.
Talk
Yeah.
a little louder in
yeah,
our
I
mic.
wanted him to leave. I definitely
Okay,
wanted him
good.
to take the job. Yes.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Because
Yes.
we want to hear all this.
Yes.
So then you got Debbie on to be a
Someone
dancer.
left,
Someone left.
and they needed someone to run the sound. So I said, I can run the sound. And again, could I run the sound? Yes.
She couldn't run the sound, but she could run the
I'm
sound.
back there going.
That's so great.
I ask everybody in the whole band, help me. Everybody tell me one thing to do. And
This is
you know,
so great.
And
That's
then
crazy.
I got the job, and
Yeah.
then that's how it worked with getting the dancing job, and it was wonderful. I feel sorry for the girl who left because she got hurt, but when the producer said, "Can you dance?" Of course I can. Dance. Kidding me?
Deb,
So,
talk a little closer.
Of
babe.
course I can dance, I said.
Yes.
So I did, and everybody, including the divers, helped me make sure that I could dance.
So, okay, so you weren't a dancer prior to that?
I love it.
Give me something.
See, I don't know if I could do that if they said, "Can you roller skate?" Because that would be a no.
Jerry, my favorite part of it was
This is so great.
the first time I went out, I knew the steps, and that was what was good. I knew how to smile and hold my face there, and they told me everything I had to do. But my favorite part was I wanted to be in the front forever.
I love this.
I so just wanted to be in the front, and it was such a wonderful time. I mean, we couldn't ask for more. Cruising around from Jamaica to Bermuda to the Bahamas to Miami to wherever all day, Marianne.
So no dance lessons.
Well, I went home for a couple lessons. It took like a week.
She learned after, right? Learn as you go.
And the girls in the show, they taught me how to do it, and it was wonderful. It was
This
wonderful.
is
Wow,
such
that's
a
great.
great
That's a great
interview.
story because that's good though when you can
Yes.
pick it up like that
Yeah.
and have somebody teach you.
I mean,
That's great.
we taught ballroom, so we knew how to dance, but we
Yeah.
not technically
Right.
to be a showgirl, but it still worked
And
out.
there you were.
Yeah, it worked out.
You take the little bits of what you know and add
Yes.
it to, and then you
Well,
just
it's,
fill in.
it's so true, that thing that you said about saying yes to everything. What was it? To know your worth.
Know your worth.
Just recently, I was fortunate enough to be cast in a play, and it opened at the Prince Theater in Philadelphia. And a local playwright who was unbelievable, and he's going to be a major star someday, Michael Ogborn, wrote a play called The Three Maries.
Oh my God, I saw that.
Did you see it?
I saw it and I loved it so much. I went back to see it again and I
the
took my
lead.
mother-in-law
He
to see
was.
it.
I was
I
Banjo Eddie.
love that
Eddie.
show.
You were the lead when he was the lead when
Were
you
you
saw it?
I guess it was the only time it
I
was there, right?
I was,
the only time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I saw you.
I
was
was
John.
Banjo Eddie, and what I'm getting at is, I don't play banjo.
But he does
They
now.
said, "Well, you have to play banjo." I said, "Okay, I'll play banjo."
Oh my
I
God.
went,
I'll
took
learn
lessons
it.
from a guy who was in the string bands,
This is so cool.
and afterwards, I'm actually playing a banjo. After I couldn't believe I did it, but
I was
it
wondering.
was very exciting.
I was thinking about that show the other day because I was like, I wonder if they're going to bring that back. That was such a great show.
You know
I
who produced
loved
that?
it.
That was the people that produced Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, really?
wow, I
That's
love that
it's a
show.
great show. It's about Philly and the Mummers and then how they became
I don't know
to
if
do
they'll
that.
come
It's great.
back, but
That was a great
That
show.
was a
I loved it. I saw it
wonderful
twice.
show.
Wow.
So
I didn't even know you then. I didn't even know him then.
No, I can't believe it.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
I'm going to whisper something in John's ear, and then we're going to do something. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We love dead air.
All right. Take it away, John.
Yo, Lenny, it's gravy, not sauce. Capiche? Huh? I see you.
Lenny Gatto, that is for you, baby. It's gravy. You heard it right here on
It
the Jerry
depends where you
Petito
come
Show.
from. That's what I say. In
Always
Philly,
been
it's
gravy.
gravy. In New York, it's sauce.
No, I was a New Yorker, honey. It's gravy, baby.
I grew up in Brooklyn, and it was sauce. So we're gonna have the debate.
Okay? That was really cool. So
Thanks.
Robert De Niro,
Well, I don't really do De Niro, but I think any Italian character you can.
you can do
You can
anything.
do this. and,
Yeah, that's right.
Don Vito Provolone. You can do. Hey, boss. I'm okay, boss. I have fixed everything in the car. It's working really good. Don't look at me like that. I got
So
plenty
wait,
room in
so-
the trunk.
So I got a question for you. So how did you go from, being discovered to going on the cruise? How did you start doing the voices and the?
I've always done the voices, and
Uh-huh.
I never really did anything about it until
I got it.
I guess until I realized that I could make money impersonating people. But I always, and you mentioned it in your poem, when I was very young, I used to lock myself in my room and play. My dad got a brand new cassette tape recorder for Christmas, and he never used it. He didn't even know what to do with it. So I put it in the room, and I started doing my little creations. I created characters and did voices and little vignettes and things like that. And I'd play it for the family, and the family would, they'd grade it. But it was always like this. The Italian, yeah, it was great. It was great. And that's really where I realized I could manipulate my voice in such a way where I could have fun with it at first.
We still have that original cassette.
And I still have that cassette. Yeah.
It's old as hell.
That is so cool.
I love
right?
it. I love it. I used to play around with ventriloquism when I was younger.
Did
so I'm
you?
intrigued by ventriloquists today, especially like Darcy Lynn.
Oh, forget
and
it.
I mean, I'm just
Unbelievable.
intrigued by
Me
them.
too.
So I
Me
love to
too.
see ventriloquism
Me
whenever I
too.
can.
Yeah, I
Me
love
too.
that as well.
Did you ever do it?
Not ventriloquism.
me.
Okay, okay. Wow,
think
that
I
would have been
could.
something, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one more thing.
Oh
Nope,
my
don't do
gosh.
that.
No, I don't think I can. I'm thinking here. I don't even know how to do that. No.
So, tell us another one of your favorite characters you like to do in their voice.
I think the most fun character for me is Rocky.
Okay, me too.
Rocky, I was living in Manhattan when Rocky 1 came out. And I got a call from the casting director because I submitted my photograph. I got a call to be his stand-in. Now, if you know what a stand-in does, they manipulate, they work with the cameraman and everything. They get the whole scene set so that when the star comes in, lights and everything are already good. But I went to see the casting director. I'm too tall. I'm 6'1". Stallone is nowhere near
He's short,
6'1".
yeah.
So I didn't get the job. But after that, I had an interest in this Rocky character. So, and you're not going to believe this when I tell you, I got a call from an agent that said, "Hey, you look like Rocky. Do you do him?" I said, "What do you mean do I do him?" And it just came out like that. I said, "Of course I do." Like, they said, "Wow, that's great." And that's how that started. But what makes Rocky so much fun? Because A, it's easy, obviously, and
It's not easy.
I say that because it just
It's easy for you.
It's easy for you.
it just happened for
Yeah.
me. I didn't have to
He
study.
is
I
self-taught.
just had it. You think about it, slow what you're saying down a little bit, And I always see him in my head there too, right?
It looks like him when he's doing that.
So, and I have difficulty talking a little bit because I'm kind of like a little bit shy, And I just have fun. Now, I take my personality, Rocky's personality, and a little bit of the comedy that I've had throughout my life, and I put it all together. And now I'm my own little creation of the Philadelphia's official Rocky impersonator. So that's where that all came from.
Wow. This is so cool.
Yeah, it's very cool, and I love it. And I'm still doing
You
it.
teach people how to speak Philadelphia?
Yeah, I do. I have
Talk,
right. That's, I
talk.
forgot that. I do now. I have a stand-up routine
Well, after
Okay.
the three Maries.
where I can do. I teach. I mean, I go up as Rocky. I teach people how to talk South Philly. Like any words that begin with the letters TH always make a D sound. Like this, that, these, those, them, and there. So there's a whole. I got a whole routine where I do
Well,
that.
do some more of that. Do some more of that routine.
So like if TH is in the middle of the word, right? Still makes a D sound like another. Hey, yo, give me another hoagie. Brother. Hey, you look like Paulie's brother. Letter. Hey, nice leather jacket you're wearing, right? Now, there is a deception to that rule,
Okay.
all right? And that's the word like birthday. All right, you got TH in the middle there, right? But it makes a F sound. Hey, yo, happy birthday. You know what I mean? Now you got TH at the end of the word, Usually it makes like a T sound. Like if you're going to go to Pat Steak, say, hey, yo, give me a cheese wit. That means you want a cheesesteak with fried onions.
I've heard that before.
Now there's a deception there too. Like if you're driving in your car, you get lost, you go, uh-oh, which way am I going to go? North or south? See that? TH, F sound. So it's kind of like trial and error for you guys. Eh?
Use guys, I
So
love that.
do the use. How's that go?
The use is the same. You're talking to a lot of people, is use.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you want to pick up a pen and write with it, you could use that too, right?
Okay.
Or if you know the guy who had the big plane made of wood, that's how it was used. See? A lot of different words there. And then you have, like words like water.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Hey, look, here's a glass of water. They'll know you're not from Philadelphia if you say water. It's water. WOODER. All right? And then you got one word that New York, they think that it's their word, but it's really a Philadelphia word.
Okay.
And it's not so much a meaning as it is a feeling.
Okay.
For instance, the word is yo. All right? Why? Oh, now I know yo backwards is oi, but that's a different world there, right? So let's say me and Adrian, this is my Adrian. How you doing, Adrian?
Rocky.
Say me and my Adrian, we go out and we're at a restaurant, right? And the guy comes up and he pours water in Adrian's glass and he don't put none in my glass. I look at him, I say, hey, yo, that means, what am I, chopped liver? Okay? Now, we're sitting at the restaurant and there's a guy over there and he's making googly eyes at my Adrian.
Oh boy.
I look at him, I say, hey, yo! That means I'm going to break your face in about 2 minutes. Now, we leave the restaurant, we go out, I see my buddy Anthony over there and say, yo! That means I'm dropping her off and I'm coming over. Get ready. And then there's my favorite. Get her home, turn off the lights, put a little music on there. I look at her, she looks at me, I give her one of these. Hey, yo. And I ain't got to tell you what that means. So there you go.
All right, guys, listen. That was amazing.
Look, I got one thing to say about all that. Forget about it.
That was amazing.
Now, usually when I'm doing a routine like that and I do the whole yo thing, later on in the night when I'm not performing but I'm walking around,
Okay.
mingling with people, you'll hear people talk. They say, hey, yo! They'll make their own thing up. And it's really kind of cool.
It is
'Cause
cool.
you know they're listening, they're having fun. So,
Yes.
and that's what it's all about.
Yes. Yes.
You got to have fun. I had a show today.
Okay.
And I had to just be myself, and I had to sing songs.
Oh,
for
that
the
must have been
elderly people.
tough.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know who the hell I was.
Can you? And we want to hear you as well. But God, tell your story.
So I had to sing. It's a village, Cardinal Village, where it's a big senior community. So it's all over, and I can hear them talking as they're walking, saying what they're saying about me, and I love hearing them say, "He's actually having fun. He's having a good time up there." That's exactly right.
That's what it's about.
You just gotta have fun. Know your worth.
Know your worth.
Do what you gotta do.
have fun.
And have fun with it.
If I can't have fun, forget it.
You gotta do this every day. This is what you've chosen. You gotta do it every day. Have fun.
So, can you sing something for us in your voice so we can hear that?
Sure.
All right.
No music, huh? Okay, that's good.
Acapello.
Like, oh my gosh.
Something you did today, maybe. A little
Something I did today.
Little something.
Something.
Little something. Something.
Okay.
All the way. Your favorite song.
Well, no, it's
okay.
too. So let's do something like maybe something from Phantom, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, that's
cool.
good.
Nighttime sharpens, heightens each sensation. Darkness wakes and stirs imagination. Silently the senses abandon their defenses. So I don't want to go too
You're done.
Dare you trust the music of the night? I might be too high. I'm not in the right key. Close your eyes, for your eyes will only tell tell the truth. And the truth isn't what you want to see. In the dark, it is easy to pretend. That the truth. You want me to keep going? Is what it ought to be. Okay, I need water.
So, do you
You have water right there.
I need water.
So, I want to say something. I was going to make fun of your opera, you know, that it's not the real thing. But to me, that is real opera.
Well, I was trained by Juilliard graduates, a husband and wife team,
Okay.
and they were very opera. But when I say I don't sing opera, I don't really. I don't sing. I mean, when you sing opera, it's very difficult to understand the words that
Yes.
they're saying because of the jaw movement. They don't move their mouth or face a lot, whereas I do. I enunciate a lot greater than opera singers do, and I don't really have. Yes, I'm a high bari,
Okay.
low tenor, but I don't even know the opera stuff. To even say I do.
So, I'll tell you a funny story about opera and me. I hate it, okay?
Oh, really?
Hate real opera, okay? So, my dad, rest his soul, he's from Italy, and, you know, when he came here, he went back once before I went with him, and he wanted to go back before he died. So we went about 20 years ago, and we went to Italy, and all he wanted to do was go to the Sydney Opera House. We went all over Europe, so we finally get to the Sydney Opera House in Australia, and it was an Italian opera. He could not wait for this trip, okay? I was an adult. My daughter was like 15. She was there with us, and I was an adult. We're sitting in this Italian opera, and I'm like this. And I'm going under the chair. My daughter's sitting there all prim and proper. My father's gripping. Get up! Stop it! I'm gonna die. Okay? Intermission. He's like, we're out of here. I said, yes.
It worked.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't take it.
Is that the building with the pointy thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
that's
God.
It was
gorgeous.
amazing.
At least he got to see
Of
the first
course.
half, right?
Listen, of course, I mean, I cherish that, but it was a funny memory. We laughed about that for years, and that made it even more memorable.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool. Yeah.
And then I have a Rocky story for you. So, I love Rocky, and I went to Russia in the 80s when it was still communist with Lenox Hill Hospital on a health tour. And I would travel all over the world, and I would carry, I'm a chess player, so I would carry a little chess set so that I could just show it to people if we couldn't communicate. And they would either go yes or no. So
That's great.
I'm in Russia, and we had a half of a free day. We go back to the hotel, and I'm buying a juice, and there's these two Russian men in the hotel. Now, what you don't know is this. Back then, we weren't allowed to even say hello to Russian people. We weren't allowed to communicate with them. We weren't allowed to have their money. We weren't allowed to shop in their stores. So our hotels were basically just for tourists. So there was two Russian men in there. He was wearing a crucifix, which meant he was someone because they weren't even allowed to wear a crucifix back then. Okay? And he had an interpreter. So his interpreter says he would like to play you in chess. I said, absolutely. Are you kidding me? So we're sitting in the lounge. We're talking through his interpreter. What do you like? What do you like? He says, I like Rocky. So idiot says, I love Rocky. Oh, he also liked to box. So he loved Rocky movies. I said, did you see Rocky? What was it? 5 with the Russian? 4 or 5, whatever
4,
it
I
was?
think.
Rocky 4, whatever it was. And he said, no, they didn't allow it in our country. So idiot says, that's because we beat the Russian. But if you give me your address, I'll send you a copy of it. He's like, great. Doorman, KGB, comes over with a gun, okay, screaming in Russian at me. So they calmed him down. He walked away, and they said, so I'll tell you. They said, we got to get you out of here. I was like, okay. I was in my 20s. They take me on the elevator. Not only did he have a room in this hotel, which they weren't supposed to, he had a suite. He had an apartment. Well, when we get in the elevator, the doors are starting to close. They slam open. 3 men with machine guns at me. Again, they say something very harshly. It was so cool to me. Listen, I'm crazy anyway. I didn't have time to be scared. All I thought was, this is so cool, man. I am in Russia and have machine guns pointed at me, all right? Over Rocky. So they leave, the doors close, we go up to the room. Then he explains everything to me. We talked all night. He showed me scars on his arms. He was tortured in Siberia. He was a gambler. I owned a poker league for 10 years in Mercer County. So I'm a gambler as well. So he was a gambler. They're very frowned upon in Russia back then. So he was kind of like, he was like thrown out as trash. His grandfather was the head of the Russian mafia. That is why this man could wear a crucifix. He believed in Jesus, and that is why this man could be anywhere he wanted to be. So we had only a wooden bed and a dresser in our bedrooms, but we all had radios. And I was too young to even think about it, but they were bugs. So he takes me in his room. So the three of us talked all night, and he showed me, and he went like this, and he showed me, and he took it out, and he goes, now we can talk. He gave me Russian money. I still have some, a lot of it. I became friends with the tour guide. She brought me into a place her friend worked. She put a kerchief on my head. She said, just go in. She's waiting for you. Just point. Everything will be marked. So I got something from Siberia. I still have it in my cabinet of stone that's only found there because he was tortured in Siberia. I got something for my daughter. But I gave her a lot of money, and I kept one of each, and I had it in my bra, and they're in my book. So I have Russian money.
What is the Russian currency?
Listen, all I know is it looks like Monopoly money. I can take a photo and I'll send it to you guys. It's tiny bills, all different colors.
Oh.
So here's Russia, communist, but their bills were beautiful. Pink, purple, green. It was craziness. But this was all because of Rocky.
But were they trying to connect you to the Russian mafia?
They were, listen to me, they wouldn't allow that movie in their country. And here's this American saying she's going to send it.
Going to send it.
So
Well, in the beginning, it makes Russia look bad, but in
Yes.
the end,
yeah, but
you know,
but it
kinda-
doesn't matter to them because back then everything,
Yeah, it was bad.
It was terrible. But yeah, so that happened to me.
That's crazy.
It was so cool.
It was
I don't know if I would be
That's
that
interesting.
cool about
Yeah, I
machine
wouldn't.
guns being
Yeah,
pointed
that's
at
kind
me.
of scary, the whole
No.
gun thing.
So cool.
Wow. I should have hung out with you when I was young.
Right?
I may not be here.
You're better. You didn't. You're right.
Wow.
So what else?
What else?
Yes, tell us some more interesting, cool stories. So let's talk about Debbie, because
I don't have any story.
no, but
Yeah, how did you get
here's
it?
What's so beautiful?
How did you get to do
Without
all this
you,
with him?
He says he would be nothing. You do everything for him. Talk about that.
I'll
Go ahead.
You're free to, but I'll certainly talk about it. I mean, there's, I think entertainers are an odd group of people.
Of course.
When I'm on stage or when I'm performing or when I'm creating or whatever it is I'm doing, I'm totally focused on what I do. And I have a great instinct for whatever I'm doing, to even improv. Because I was taught when I was living in Manhattan, I took 4 improv classes a week from 4 different teachers. So I really wanted to learn improvisation so I could handle myself in front of bums and millionaires, and I can do that. But when I'm not performing, I don't want any part of it. I want to sit down and be a bum, basically.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like, you would never know. Let me give you an example. As an Elvis impersonator or an ETA, it's great. You get all the accolades. People love you, blah, 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 blah. But when it's over, they don't know it's me. I love that. I don't want people to recognize me and say, hey, you're the Elvis guy, aren't you? I love the anonymity that I get and yet can still feel the exuberance and the wonderful things I can give to people. But I don't want it all the time. I'm a regular guy when I'm not performing. I want to be regular. She keeps me regular. She lets me be regular. If you follow me.
yes.
So because of that, I lack in the areas of posting online or doing SEO stuff. I don't know about that. I don't really want
Worrying
to know
about a
that.
photograph or a video or
Or how I look when I go
what
out.
I look like. I said, John, come on. You
You're,
kinda-
she says, you're a public figure. Go out. You got to look nice when you go out. Oh, man. So it's that kind of thing that she tweaks everything so it's exactly the way it should be.
And when I saw you guys in Florida, she was doing everything. I mean, she was on point with
Oh, yeah.
everything. Camera, who's where, this is going on, that's going on. And she was, not running, but, making sure everything
Changing
was,
his costumes behind stage.
yeah.
All the Elvis costumes, polishing the beads on the costumes, and there's like
Yeah.
2,000 beads on each costume, or I don't
Yeah,
know,
there's
probably
too
a
much.
million.
There's really too much for her to do because she takes everything on. She runs the office. She books the jobs. She takes care of costuming. She takes care of clients. She does everything, even my creative end of things. I run it by her
That's
before I
good. Who
finish.
buy it? And I watch the audience.
Wow.
If you see John telling jokes and nobody's laughing, give me a black marker. That's coming out.
Okay.
That has to come out. He thinks it's funny, but I say, no, that's just not funny. And he says, I'm laughing at it all day. And I said, yeah, I know.
it might be funny to some people, but
I can't tell you what kind of music you like either, but I don't know. But it has to go, John. I'm sorry. Or
Yeah.
this song has to go in because you're with this, that, or the other thing, depending on where he's singing
Yeah.
and doing. What songs do best? What way you shouldn't move when you're Elvis? Because that.
How to smile, how to
I-
pose when
I
people
do.
are taking my
Everything.
pictures. I mean,
I stop
I
him
don't
right
know.
dead in his tracks, and I go, mm-mm. Like I'm over here. And I'm like,
That's funny.
I just don't want him to have stick up hair and his eyes closed, or
Mm-hmm.
And I'm never on the camera, so this is bizarre for me because I'm never on the camera. But it's not that I'm hollering or picking at him. I just want him to look the best he can. If he's up for an hour show or a 2-hour show, I want them to walk away and say, "Oh my God, that guy's Elvis."
So,
So,
has he ever fought you on anything? No.
no.
well, no, I don't because I know she's right. She's right all the time, even if it's not showbiz.
It's Tuesday.
You guys are right all the time.
We are, especially on Tuesdays.
I'll never figure that out, ever. But yeah, she is. See, she's an average person. She is an average audience member.
That's what I said.
So
I
her
am the
input
audience.
is extremely valuable
I'm the audience.
because she's the people I'm performing for.
That's right.
I'm not trying
So
to
I have to listen to
upstage
her.
him or be on the stage. I don't want to be on the stage. I want what people are paying for to be, and if you're Elvis, don't move wrong. 'Cause I'm a big Elvis fan.
Yeah, me
I was going to say,
too.
did you become an Elvis fan from doing that? I mean, did you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I never really, like I said when I told you that story, I never, I didn't know him. I didn't know his
Yeah.
music. I didn't really know what he did. But then I started watching him. I had to because I had a job
Yeah.
coming up.
Imagine that.
And even now, he finds Elvis songs. I say, "Oh, this is a wonderful song. We should do it."
Oh,
And
wow.
then once he does it, like
Oh, yeah, it's great.
America
wow.
the Beautiful, he knocks people off their feet when he does that song.
Wow.
And it's crazy as Elvis.
Can you do a little piece of it for us?
Wow.
You'd have to do the ending if you really. Come
Let's talk a little bit more. And
Yeah,
that's
think
a
about
big
it.
vocal
She,
thing.
she brings people in here with music and stuff too, so you gotta
Yeah,
have them
that's
come
a
back
big
and
vocal,
come back as Elvis.
request.
So, Deb, I have a question for you. When he's himself, okay? I don't know how to ask you this. I don't want to use the word normal, but is he normal?
When he's regular John. We
Yes.
call him regular. I call him Old Man Joe.
Okay, so is he regular John?
Oh, yeah, regular Joe. Like I say, John, we can afford you to get a new pair of slippers. Why don't you just let me get you a pair? No, I like these. Oh, my God. They're all bleached out. And there's I don't know how there's bleach all over them, but they're black and white like a cow. And he's got on one kind of shirt and a thing on top of it. And he's singing around, just not singing, but humming around the house. And always pleasant, kind. He's a very generous person.
I have
He
to
loves the
learn.
kids.
Oh, yeah. I
He's
have
a
to
nice
learn
guy.
and understand that people
He loves
people
TV,
are enamored by what entertainers do.
and he does none of that.
And I still,
Just his own person.
yeah, when it's,
Yeah.
like I said, when it's all over and it's said and done, people, they want to talk to you about about what you do. And I really don't want to. I do because I don't want to be rude. But the whole conversation on a night out when I'm trying to be John, the normal guy, is about me and what I do. And I don't want that. I don't want to monopolize a conversation. I want to know what you do in your life. What do you do in your life? Talk
What are
to
you
me
doing?
about that.
How you
I
doing?
don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about you.
I am in awe. So, you know why I asked you that question? You know, being in radio, we've had the privilege of meeting so many different entertainers and characters and impersonators, and they're all amazing. But some of them don't know how to be a regular person.
Yeah.
Even
Agreed.
off stage, they are those people. That's a little
Agreed.
crazy to
We
me.
have this little place in Florida, and it's tiny, probably this big. And we go to the pool, and we sit there, and nobody talks.
Deb, a little
Oh, sorry. We don't have to talk to people or be on point, or just put a
Yes.
hat on and don't put makeup on and just sit there
Yes.
and relax. And then somebody says takes his hat off or something and gets in the pool, and they go, I think I saw that guy last night. I think it's John. I think his name's John. And it's adorable. And next thing you know, all the people in the pool are being sucked over to John. And they say, you were Elvis last night. I hear you talking. And he says, yeah, that's it. You have to find a new pool. Because now you can't sit down and talk because it's very, very busy. And then you're on all the time.
Can you imagine what Elvis's life was
No,
like?
that's
like
what we
that?
said.
I
You
was
know?
just going to say
He
that.
didn't
It's-
have a
it's
life.
crazy.
Poor guy. He didn't
So
have
he
a
had
life.
to have that
He had
inner
none.
circle
You know?
to
And
even
really,
enjoy.
He doesn't mean it either because
No,
of course
sure.
he
not.
loves all these people and
Sure.
he loves what he does. But sometimes you want to just sit down and not move or talk or
Yeah.
anything.
You said you started this conversation by saying, that some people don't know when it's over. And I have a little saying that is still true today. I say, if you hire an Elvis impersonator, and before the party, he comes there and he looks like Elvis, you're in trouble.
I agree.
Because these are the guys. Now, look, it sounds horrible. And
no.
please,
Yeah.
if you're listening, I'm not saying
It's
anything
true,
bad
sorry.
about it. But some guys and gals just take it a little bit too far, where they say, oh, he's channeling through my body. No, he's not.
No, he isn't.
What channel are you listening to?
There you go. I agree.
So
That's off the air.
they're
that
the
John.
people that I just kind of keep my distance from.
Yes,
that's all.
I've had to do that with a few people in the business.
So
Or the people that only invite you over to sit around and have some wine, and then they want you to sing all night. It's like, that's not always that fun. Because now
Right.
he isn't going to drink. And
Right.
he has an audience. An audience is an audience regardless. And you can't stink when you have an audience. So then you have to be the entertainer for the night.
Wow.
So, sometimes that's not fun either.
Well, it's a
okay.
good thing that you don't stink.
It's a good thing. Yeah, it is. And it's a great thing if they ask you in advance. You know. But we're not complaining. Please don't think that we think anything bad of
No, but we understand that. I mean, let's talk about Elvis for a minute with all that.
Yeah.
Look what that poor man, I mean, listen, the greatest entertainer.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Elvis fan.
Yeah.
There will never be anyone like him, not before him, not after him. He changed
agree.
the industry, what he's done to this day. Little kids know Elvis. This is crazy, right? But the poor guy, look at what happened to his life.
Yep.
He couldn't even walk outside. Yeah, I mean, that's craziness. So I'm glad you guys are the way you are.
yeah, I can't imagine.
So you can enjoy life, your family.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I love the way we have separated business from normal life, because it could be crazy.
The minute we're done and we get in the car, it's slump. It's it. We're done.
Yes.
Everything's
like,
ripped off and we're
Yeah,
back.
even coming here, I had to be. Yes, I was myself. I wasn't a character, but I sang, and in my show, I did some voices and had fun with people. But now that that's over, and now I'm in the car, and I had to come here, I'm thinking, I don't really want to do anything. I'm saying to myself, because I don't know. I said, you know what? And then I said, John, relax. This
Yeah,
is
he
a
panics on
radio
everything.
show.
He does.
Just
nice when you can have a
relax
conversation
and do
with
whatever
yourself.
and don't have prepared things.
His
Just,
angst
just
is-
relax.
is-
So
you would
that's
think
what
that-
I'm doing.
I'm so happy you feel the way because Ava knows. I tell everyone, they get all nervous.
Yeah.
I tell them in 5 minutes, you're going to feel so comfortable. It's just, right? It's
Yeah,
just,
and we've both been in the industry for a long
Yes.
time, so we know
know?
how
Mm-hmm.
how to bring it in.
I have a great Rocky gig coming up. I got a call from a girl who was running for city council.
Okay.
Actually, it's like her.
City council at large.
No, who
actually.
handles your campaign manager?
Okay.
Campaign manager sends me a text. Oh, we'd love to have you at this big. It's a $200 a plate dinner, and it's this and that and the whole city's going to be there and TV.
That's cool.
And we want you to come as Rocky. I said, okay. Well, what do you want me to do? She said, well, this girl came to the country as a Russian immigrant, and she has, a similar story to the background of Rocky's rise to stardom. And she wants me to give a speech as Rocky, speak from the heart. I said, who's going to write the speech? She says, you are. She said, just
You mean Debbie is?
how long do you want? She never got back to me. So I said, well, give me a hint. I can't write if I don't have a vault of information
Like
to
I
pick
had to
from.
get just
Yes.
for my
Yes.
home, I had to get some info.
So give me
from
some stuff. So she sent me to her site and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm really excited about doing
When are you
it.
doing
Me
that?
too. When is that?
No, what is it?
March.
March 6th.
That's the day before my birthday, girlfriend. Where's it at?
It's in Center City. I don't know the venue yet.
They didn't
but
give us the name of the venue. They didn't give us. She wants to meet, have drinks or conversation with us in the next couple days.
And then you got to come out to my event on March 7th
I
and
do.
tell us all
We
about
do.
it.
We are definitely going to come to your
Awesome.
event.
Jerry's getting an
Where's
award.
your event?
It's
Oh,
in,
it's where you're
it's
getting
in-
the award.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
in
cool.
Smithville.
Will he come as
Smithville? Are you
Elvis?
familiar with Smithville?
I don't know
Yes.
about that.
Yeah.
We just did a
I'm
show
not
in
sure where
Smithville.
you're-
So it's in the next shopping center over. It's
The
Smithville
Four
Square.
Seasons at Smithville.
Well, we
just
have
did.
something earlier
Nice.
that day.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I won't say no, but I won't say yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Wow. Okay. I'm just in awe right now. Not just the characters that you do that are off the charts. Ava, you were right.
Yeah.
You said you have to meet John and Debbie. You won't believe it.
No, I knew right away it was going to be.
Who's John and Debbie? I'd love to meet John and Debbie. Hi, John. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Very nice to meet you. Hi, folks out there in TV land. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Melvin. Actually, pardon me. Excuse me. I have a drinking problem. See, my teeth have a 23-degree trajectory of my upper mandibular lobe, and when I drink, my teeth stick out, and they tip the cup so ever so lightly, like that, and it falls all down my chin.
I don't know how to talk to this guy.
No, you know what? I was going to bring, when I was talking to you, I was going to bring I have a prosthetic piece that's made that fits in my mouth. And when I put that on, I have these big glasses that flip up, and I do that Jerry Lewis character.
That character.
And I love doing that more than any. Well, I can't say more than any. That's
Our
one of the characters
granddaughters
I
do
love
it now.
Yeah, he was great. His characters were
Did you
great,
see
though,
that?
huh?
You follow? Do you see on Facebook last week? Did you see anything with John Monforto on Facebook last week?
No. Sorry, I was
year
tied up in
ago.
2 fashion weeks.
A year ago, I was babysitting my granddaughters, and they love it when I do crazy stuff. See, that's when I can be normal grandpa, but also
Yes.
freak him out and do some fun
Yes,
stuff.
that's fun. That's
So
just
I
fun
get my
grandma.
glasses, I put my teeth in, and I do my Melvin character. So I said, this is going to be fun. So I put my teeth in, and I got glasses, and I put them on their faces like this. And I said, just open your mouth. And I had both of them with the glasses on, and me standing there as Melvin.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful picture. I
That's
love
so
it.
cool.
I love that picture.
They had so much fun.
My daughter likes Mr. Napkin Head. Mr. Napkin Head, the whole napkin and the part of it's in your mouth when you're talking. It's hysterical. You reminded me of that. He was doing that.
Fun, yeah.
I love that though.
Is that something you created, Mr.
No, it was something we saw in the movie, and
Oh,
she
that's
still
funny.
loves it.
That's
Well,
funny.
he named this character Elsie Merkel many years ago, and then he told the kids, and the kids call him Mr. Elsie Miracle.
Miracle.
Which makes it even more cute because it's just so silly, But that's fun.
But I knew when I met you guys in Florida, I even said to you, I got to get you on my friend's show because you guys are going to
Thank
hit it
you.
off.
Thank you
yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
Such a great surprise.
This is a
This
pleasure.
is
great. And I told you he was great.
Really is
We are
fun.
so grateful to you, both of you. Thank you.
This is amazing.
And it's great.
amazing having you guys
So
here.
exciting.
What about Jerry Lewis?
Well, that's the
you-
characterization
I know,
that I
but
use
can't
for
you
that.
just talk?
Actually, I'll sit here and I'll answer questions too. I'll just open it up to the table. Anybody have a question?
Ask him something funny.
I'm thinking. I mean, you know.
Telethon. Tell us about that. How
Well,
long did
that's
you do?
that's very close to my heart. The telethon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm no longer alive, so the telethon is. They don't do it anymore, do they?
No.
No,
Yeah.
not you.
Well, it's a shame because we used to have fun. I used to love the very end part where I got a chance to sing and cry because it's heart-wrenching what's happening in the world. And even though you may think I'm making fun, I'm not. I loved Mr. Lewis, and I love the fact that he had the March of Dimes telethon every year. And I actually tried to get on more than once.
That didn't happen.
Twice. I tried to get on twice.
My aunt met him a few times because I lost some relatives to muscular dystrophy, and so my aunt, we have a picture somewhere of my aunt giving him a check, and so we were huge Jerry Lewis fans, and I know towards the end there when he was going through some illness
It's a shame,
I
yeah.
himself, yeah.
love
Such
that
a
man.
talent.
But I used to love, even as a little kid, listening to "You'll Never Walk Alone" at the end of the telethons, and I still, this day, love that song. And Elvis sings it also, and it's a lot of times I hear it and it just rises all that stuff up, you know.
Watching
beautiful.
some of the
So beautiful.
his movies when I was a young man, a little boy, with Dean Martin,
Yeah, loved it.
he revolutionized the comedy industry with his antics and his body movements and what he did.
Absolutely.
I still today I think he is probably the pioneer in the
comedy,
comedy
yeah.
industry. Yeah,
I
definitely.
think your Jerry Lewis is hilarious. I mean, with the whole posing for the magazine stunts and
yeah.
the goofy outfit that you have on.
Yeah, if
and
I got to see the photo you sent me, Deb, that was
the-
beautiful.
It's hilarious.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I do a routine, in my
routine
one-man
is
show. I
hilarious.
bring. I guess, do we call him Jerry Lewis? Or do we
No,
just call
you
him
don't,
Melvin? I
no.
don't call him Jerry Lewis. He's a nerd,
Yeah, you do
but
the
and
nerd
he's the
character.
teeth, and he's got the glasses, and he's usually in a like a lab coat with pens and things sticking out. And I do a routine where I come out and I say that actually I'm the security for Disney. Security. Oh, I'm not doing too good because somebody just slipped that woman a Mickey, and I didn't even see it coming. So I say something nonsensical, and then I say, well, luckily I have a second profession. I am an international male model, and I do these. I say I was a model for Kmart. I was the #1 model at the Kmart in Australia. You talked about Australia. You know what they call Kmart in Australia?
What?
Kmart.
Nonsense.
I used to
that
model.
one.
I used to model men's underwear. Remember this pose on page 37 of the fall catalog?
it's nonsense.
So
but
I would do a pose on stage, and I'd say, "You know what they call men's underwear in Australia?
Men's underwear.
Crocodile undies."
So we bring him out for about like 5 minutes to give my singing a break, So I try to combine the singing characters and the speaking characters. And
What was
make
the
it
name of the
easier.
movie where he did that? You know, he turned around and then he was the debonair guy that could sing, and then he
Oh,
was
that
the.
was
No,
the
that
one
wasn't the Nutty Professor,
Nutty
was it?
Professor.
It wasn't.
Oh, Buddy Love.
Yeah, yeah, that was
He-
great. Yeah, Buddy Love, right,
He
right.
was so slick. As Buddy
Yeah.
Love,
Oh
wasn't
my
he?
gosh, and he
Yeah.
pulled it off so beautifully.
yeah,
You know.
he really did.
So, Doc G. So, what do you think about my guest?
Be nice.
Yep.
Oh, you asked me what I thought about him. I think he's a great guy. I think he's very, very,
Thank you very much.
very, very intelligent, very smart. We love Jerry Lewis, and we love Elvis. We love all
And we
the,
love
the
rock.
people.
Oh, right.
I might have some voiceovers for you. And once we get the new studio open, I'm going to be needing a lot of people doing that for businesses and stuff.
Cool.
He's
Very
a lot
cool.
of people.
I do
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah. Well, who else?
Yeah.
Who are some of the other people you do?
A lot of people.
I know I saw you do
You're
patent.
okay, sweetheart. He was 27 G's. You only got 10 left. Play it again, Sam.
After his go.
Can you do Groucho?
How about this
Groucho?
one? How about this one?
Good evening. Welcome to the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. Tonight's story is about a gentleman who's going to sing a very famous song. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy Old Man River.
Listen,
That is great.
what did you want to know?
Groucho Marx, or that's almost like Stan Laurel too.
Twilight Zone.
That
Groucho Marx, I can't even hear his voice. Groucho Marx. No, I don't.
With the cigar, right?
He didn't
Well,
really
that's-
talk very much, did he?
Yeah.
yeah, You Bet Your Life he was on, and
Yeah, no,
a lot
I
of
don't.
the-
I've
Oh,
never
yeah,
tried
yeah.
it.
I remember a little
If
bit.
he
never tried.
watches it, he'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
He'll get it.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
oh, that's
I
good.
do some singing as Johnny Cash too.
Cool.
When I was a baby, Mama told me, son, always be a good boy, never play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die.
Forget it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Oh my gosh. So, all right. I've asked other impersonators this question, and I'm going to ask you as well. So, I love impressionists. Okay, I love when we talked about this, Ava. When we hear people doing other people's voices, I think it's because we're so in awe of. I could never imagine doing that. Okay, and even singers, right? I don't sing, so I'm like, oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. How did they get their voices to do this? So when you impersonate someone, and you're not just impersonating one person, I would understand if someone really learned how to do one character. I could get that a little bit. How do you do so many? And they like what do you do to your voice? What do you like? How does that happen?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't.
the second loaded
I
question.
never
Wait till
really
you hear
had
the
to think
third.
about that before. Well, I never had to think about that, there, kid. I see the character in my head. I have
Okay.
to see the character.
Right.
I have to be able to hear the voice of the character in my head in order to do it. If I can't hear it, I can't do it. Which, what the
Oh.
Yeah.
Groucho Marx thing. If I can't hear his voice, I can't even go near it. But I don't. I guess it's my years of locking myself in my room and trying to do
And
things
watching millions
and
of
watching
hours of
shows.
No, I mean, no, that's not.
Oh.
I understand that, but your voice, what did you have to do in your throat, like with your voice, to get it to do that?
I have to hear it. That's all.
He
I
opens
have to
his
hear
I got
it.
that. I
Like if
think
I'm
he
on-
hears
if I'm
it in
on-
his head, and you can
Say if
just
I'm
do
on
it.
total Elvis, know what I mean? I mean, if I'm on sit here and talk to you like Elvis, I don't think of nothing but Elvis. Know what I mean? Come on, darling.
I mean, I guess hold my hand. Let's talk.
So, love me tender, love me sweet. I don't know what I think. I don't know how to answer that. That's it.
All right, Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog here, Sesame Street News. I don't never really tried Kermit.
Okay, because someone
not
told
bad,
me who I absolutely love this man, Scott Gager, the man of over 100 voices. He's awesome. He's been on my shows many times. Guy's incredible. And he said that for him, it started with doing Kermit. And he said once he was able to do that, he was able to do anyone.
I mean, you can. I mean, I'm thinking about while you're talking. I'm thinking where I just went with my voice
Yes.
to do Kermit. So it's kind of like Pee Wee Hermanish.
Yeah.
You know, I still don't know how to answer your question.
Yeah.
I just know.
But I get that you have to hear it
manipulate
and
stuff.
feel
You
it.
have
I
to
don't
manipulate
think.
it,
Yeah.
and you do it, and it works.
Characters like fun characters like that, or even you know, there's a jaw thrust. There's a squeezing of the vocal cords to make something come out a certain way. You know, there's creating a lisp or something like that. So
Well, look at, it's not exactly the same thing, yet I fell in love with the movie Bohemian Rhapsody. And I think Rami Malek, when I watched it, I saw it, I had to go see it again because he had a line in there about having extra incisors and that was giving him a bigger range. And I think he embodied Freddie Mercury. Like I thought I was watching Freddie Mercury. It was crazy. I don't know if you've seen the movie,
can't
but
wait to see it.
it's crazy how good he is. It's just crazy.
I have the
And
disc,
it just
yeah.
reminds me of that there's something inside of you that is able to fit in that mold.
Well, I agree with that. I know a lot of times if there's a malady or something wrong or whatever it is in your face or the structure of your jaw, you're either real good at something or not good at all. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
a
it
friend
was
of mine
interesting.
who is a multiple celebrity impersonator. We were living out in Vegas for a while, and he does
Love
a lot of
Vegas.
different things. And he had a speech impediment as a child. And he said, I had to overcome that. So I'm standing in my room, and I'm making sounds and moving my... He said, and I'm discovering that I can do this, and I could do this, or I could do this. And now he does the same amount of characters as I do. He's the #1 Trump impersonator in the world. So even though you may like him, hate him, that guy's working his butt off, making a
Sure.
ton of money.
Sure.
For him.
So yeah,
Anybody
good for
that's
him.
in the public eye that somebody can imitate
Yep.
is,
Yep.
regardless of how he's seen, respected, whatever. If you can imitate that person, you're
Yeah.
you're in the thick of it because they're all in the public eye. So
Now,
if you
I
can
know
do that.
I know that I have an advantage because I have a very big voice, and a lot of times that's not good because I have a difficult time doing an aside or a whisper to my wife without other people here. She says, "John, your voice is too big. Stop. Don't talk."
Yeah.
What?
We come from the Loud
What?
family, the
What?
Saturday Night Loud family.
Sounds like loud. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our family. So I know that feeling very well.
Philadelphia had to learn how to not speak Philadelphia to get these jobs and be
That's right, I had to be trained,
voiceover
yeah.
artist and all the things that he's done and be in movies and all the TV shows and have perfect diction to turn around and become a Rocky impersonator,
What you guys talking about? What do you mean? Hey, you talking to me?
which is really funny.
That's exactly right. I forgot that, and I'm glad
That's
she
a big
brought that up.
thing. I mean,
I was in Manhattan studying to be whatever I was, and I would go to an audition, and the casting director would say to me, "You're from Philly, aren't you?"
yeah, right away.
Oh,
How'd you know?
and that's a bad thing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, to try to get a part and not have any type of regional accent at all, they want you to speak perfectly. So then I had to have that removed. I had to go to someone to help me get rid of my Philadelphia accent, which I
A
did.
speech class? Go to a
And what
speech
am I
class?
doing? Yeah, speech class.
Yeah, I did too.
What am I doing? Hey, yo, how these guys doing?
Right.
Huh? Come on, talking to me.
And it's so funny because you can hang around someone and pick up their laugh, their accent, everything.
This is so funny to me.
It is. It's
How'd that work out for you?
worked out pretty good, you know.
You don't like Elvis and you're an Elvis ETA.
Is that funny? Oh my goodness.
Wait, you don't like Elvis? What?
Oh, I didn't say
He
that.
does
Oh,
now.
back then.
Yeah, but he was young. But oh my gosh, that is like so funny.
Yeah, yeah. And I paid a ton of money to get rid of the accent. Look, I can speak perfectly, but you know, we all get lazy every now and then. She say,
Yeah, sure.
What did you say there, John? What did you say? All right, sorry, hon.
I purposely don't speak perfectly. My daughter, she's one of those grammar critics. I hate it. So when I post stuff on her Facebook, well, I do caps anyway. Everything that I post is in caps because I'm Italian and I'm yelling. But I'll spell love, L-U-V, B, just the letter B. She hates it. I love
Why?
it.
It's so fun.
Okay.
I think it's so interesting and fun.
Those grammar critics,
We know.
please.
We know
It's
you
the
don't
time to write
spell
out the
love,
full word.
L-U-V.
Come on.
Our 6-year-old granddaughter said, "Dad, you forgot a comma and an exclamation."
You see
point."
what I mean?
This is what-
I
yeah,
tell you what
6
bugs me
years
the
old.
most. I talk text into my phone all the time. So I'm always saying ... I'm saying question mark.
Yeah.
I call somebody's regular answering machine, and I'm talking to them. I'm like, question mark, LOL, dot, dot, dot. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm
That
crazy.
is so great.
That's adorable. That's really cute.
That's great.
It's the worst feeling, though.
That's fun.
That's great.
I never tried to if I'm texting, if I'm voice texting, is that what it's called?
Yes.
I never tried to punctuate. I did the other day and it didn't work, and I'm not going to try it again.
It
I wanted to make
usually
a space.
works on
No,
mine.
I said space, and the word space came out. Doesn't work that way.
What do you listen? No, you should see how I text. Forget it. If I voice text, it doesn't come in caps, and I'll get messages back. First of all, are you okay, or did you voice this? Okay.
But I think there's something going on there because today I noticed it for the first time. Do you ever text somebody and then you want to go text somebody else and then it goes to the wrong
Yes.
person?
Yes.
Well, today I saw it for the first time because I texted my daughter
Yeah, that's not good.
and then I texted my sister, but my last one I texted was my daughter. And then my sister asked me to ask her something because we were out to lunch today, and I texted it to her, and my sister goes, "You just texted that to me." I'm like, "How did it go to you when she was the last one that I texted?" So I think there's something. They're like spying on our phones too.
Something's going on. Listen, it happened to me. I sent a text,
It's
went
not
to
good.
the wrong person. It wasn't a good text. Okay? I could not believe that. I redeemed myself, but, it took a little.
And it picks up weird things. Even when I check it,
Yeah.
it sends the wrong thing. So I'm like, something ain't right here because I already fixed that.
See, the English language to me has become a source of entertainment and humor.
That's true.
And not the language, the way people speak it and spell it. It is a source of entertainment for me and my children and my family.
Well, my big thing is people don't know how to communicate anymore.
They don't know how to spell.
And they don't know how to spell. They don't know how to talk.
They'll spend
And-
$22,000 for a neon sign advertising their business, and
And
they'll
spell
spell
wrong.
it wrong. Who proofread that? Who installed that? Are you kidding me? That's the kind of stuff. Because I love doing word games and crosswords, and I really am like a wordsmith. I love words. Because I write a lot and I create a lot, and you need to have that. That's your vault.
Did you ever see the movie Love Happens with
was in that?
Aaron Eckhart and Jennifer Aniston?
Oh, I love
Yes.
It's such a great movie where she puts these words, like these big words that she finds in a dictionary behind like paintings. Like she puts flowers in hotels and stuff. So she goes and she'll go behind the painting and write some big word. And then like one of them was like poppy smick or something. And then you're looking it up and it's a sound your mouth makes when you pop like that, and but it's so funny because she'll take these big words and then she's constantly looking in the dictionary for these words and writing them on the wall behind the paintings. It's hysterical.
Yeah. So my girls are constantly searching. If they're out at a restaurant, they're looking at the menu. They're not looking for what they want to eat.
Nope.
They're looking for misspelled words.
I can't take. I
Oh,
could
oh
never
God,
talk
are you
to them.
kidding?
And they take pictures of it and send it to me.
Yeah,
Dad, look at
everywhere.
this. Look
All
at
over
this.
the country, we
And now
have
it's a game we
text
play.
messages and pictures of misspelled words.
It's fun.
Well, there shouldn't be anything misspelled in my book.
But you never know. No, I'm kidding.
I want you to take a photo of it if you find it and text it to me.
It happens all the
Okay.
time. Don't we
Right?
know?
So, when I decided a couple years ago to write this book, I took a month off of life because I fast anyway for a month every year. So it was kind of like.
I don't think they know your story, Cherry.
So I cured myself of 2 cancers when I was in my 30s. I went away and got certified in fasting and with just water. Yeah, I did a water fast for 2 months. Locked myself in my house. Had a colonic system.
Come on.
Come on.
2 months.
2 months, nothing but water. My daughter lived with me, she could tell you. 2 months, nothing but water. So the concept of fasting is, all right, so animals are much smarter than we are, okay? Our grandparents, our great-grandparents, they didn't have Google. They knew everything. Starve a fever, feed a cold. There was something to that,
Yes.
okay?
I agree.
So the concept of fasting is this, and when animals are sick, they will not eat. When you have cancer or a disease and you do not feed your body has to eat, okay? So your body is so brilliant, it eats off of itself and it will eat the sick cells first, So, true story. So we could always talk about that another time, okay? So now I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm also an addiction coach. God has been really good. God spared me for so many reasons.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Bless you. That's
So-
wonderful.
Good for you.
So anyway, I'll tell you, so the funny story about this is this. So my dad had Alzheimer's. We were his caretakers, and I called my brother up, and I said, I'm going to fast. I think it was October, whatever it was. I said, I'm going to fast. So he's like, okay, I have dad duty. You fast for the month. God said, write the book. But I didn't tell anyone I was writing a book. God wrote this book. It was written in less than 3 weeks. So,
She channeled him. No, I'm kidding.
yeah. But I hand wrote it because that's what I do. I'm an artist. I'm a poet, right? So I've had some poems published in the past, but we would actually mail it to them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So I write this book, and I call my brother after 3 weeks, and I said, okay, so I have a little issue. I wrote a book. And he goes, you wrote a book? I said, yeah. And he goes, well, what's the issue? I said, I hand wrote it. I don't know what to do with it now. So a friend of mine who's mentioned in here, she came over. She got everything she needed and put it in the computer, and she made it the book in the computer, okay? So she said, Jar, her uncle used to be a publisher, so she kind of knew the ropes a little bit. And she said, Jar, what we're going to do is we're going to send this to about 100 different publishers. It could take years. Sometimes they'll turn you down. I said, oh, no. We're sending it to one, Simon & Schuster. God wrote the book. It's going to be published. She, okay, Jar. So we sent it to Simon & Schuster. I put her contact info with mine. I get a call 5 days later. She has Simon & Schuster on the line. And they said, we're going to hook you up with our new division. And we're going to publish this book, Archway Publishing. And I wasn't even surprised. My girlfriend's going crazy, and I'm like, I know. Okay, cool. You know, so God wrote this book. God's all through this book.
Amazing.
I can't wait to read it.
So there shouldn't be, because I didn't go through it, they went through it. There shouldn't be any spelling errors. There shouldn't be. So I cannot wait for you to find one.
I'm the punctuation
I'm not
queen.
going to.
I'm actually revising this. That's in the works as well. So within a month to 2 months, that will be done, because it's going to be a lot bigger, and I'm going to be adding a lot of things that I didn't know 2 years ago that I do know now. Okay, so that's that. But I would love for you to take a screenshot of something. That would be cool. Okay.
Very nice.
So guys, we're gonna be coming to the close of the show soon. We have time. So, Ava, let's talk to you a little bit.
Okay.
So, what's happening in your world? Let's tell everybody what's going on.
Gosh,
I know
Jerry,
there's so much.
There's so much going on.
Yes.
The last few months have been crazy. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I guess I spoke on Marco's show about my husband was in a really bad car accident in early December, and then he was in the hospital for a week. So I'm still not over the fact that I did not plan a funeral this past holiday. So it's getting better every day.
Beautiful.
And it's more getting better for me than it is for him. I mean, if you looked at the car, you would not believe that my husband walked away from this. And it happened on my father's birthday, and then there's a whole story about how I felt my father around me, and I felt my father was there to save my husband's life. And now it's been really crazy. So other than that, aside from that, we've got the bags we're working on.
Yes.
So can I talk about the
Yes,
bags?
let's see.
Okay, so this is the one style. I know the radio listeners can't see it, but it's a tote bag, and it's the us and them. So what happens with the bags is we want to make a movement with them. So there's
Let
going to
me
be
have that.
a positive message on the outside, and this is us and them, and there's a positive message that is handwritten by myself on the inside. Well, handwritten, I made them into postcards, and then they get a gift inside that's valued between $20 and $50. And we have books, we have poems, we have artwork, we have makeup things, all kinds of things going inside the bags. And then every style, there's 21 different designs, and every one gives back to a different charity across the country. So we have 21 charities, and we have some really nice ones. My favorite one is the Lou Ruvo Center in Vegas, and that was huge to have them come aboard. So out of those 21 charities, we have about 12 or 13 selected that are going to be in a rotating schedule of receiving funds from the sales of these bags. So they're all they're manufactured here in Jersey, and they all have Swarovski crystals on them, so they're just beautifully made.
wow.
And so we're working on some different things. We have a man's line, we have a kids teen line coming out, and I love my teen line because it's all about empowering kids. It's like I fight like a girl, I run like a girl, I cry like a girl. And so I get to give a shout out to Brooke Moriber. She's a singer. I met her last season at Fashion Week, but she came back again to New York Fashion Week, and her new album is called Cry Like a Girl. So I talked to her already about, doing something with our kids line. So now, it's a slow process because my manufacturer's a small house and we're a small house. So that's one project. Of course, we have the authors we work with. Shout out to Judy Hurtado and her Angel
Right.
book.
right.
And now we're looking at, Marco and I are looking at opening an incubator office space. And it's really big in the DC area, and that's where I saw my friend's office, and I'm like, shoot, we could do that. So
What is
wi-
that?
within 10 days we found a space. It's a large space, and you set up cubicles in there, like big cubicles, not like, just 2 rows of cubicles, like office
Okay.
space. And the one I saw in DC was amazing. It had an auditorium, it had a conference area, it even had a tiny little nap room that would be as big as like where that gray board is to the chair right there. That's it. And had a little couch in there, you can go in there and take a nap. And whiteboards and positive things and stuff like that. So within 10 days of seeing my friend's space, we found a space, we met the owner. I mean, so many things are happening so fast, and it's crazy because we're working on a shoestring budget. So I have, all of my networking buddies working with us to kind of make this happen. So there is so much going on right now that you talk about wanting to get away from it, put your head on the pillow. By the end of the night, I don't want to know anybody, Yeah, there's a lot going on. So yeah.
And I love your bag. I have one.
Yes, you do.
Famous eye bags.
Yes.
I love them.
Thank you. Sold one at New York Fashion Week at press night. The guy took it right off my hands. And that's why I don't have a small one, because someone bought it off my hands. And this was my client's bag because I didn't have one. And I'm like, you don't want her bag. It's like been used. Oh, yeah, it's fine. It's our 40th anniversary. Just give me that bag.
That's great.
Well, he left it on the table, and paid for it and left it on the
Okay,
table.
yeah.
So now I'm making him a brand new one, so he
okay,
doesn't have to
okay.
take the old one. But anyway, yeah.
So, okay. So, Debbie, anything you would like to tell everyone out there?
Well, I think I did much more talking than I ever expected to begin with.
It was great having you on here.
Thank you. No, I'm having a wonderful time. It's not my turn. You want it to be your turn again, John? You're done.
Yeah.
Ava's got a brand new bag.
I love it.
That's what I was thinking. You're talking about that
That's
brand
great.
new bag.
I love it.
For James Brown, bring him in.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something
This
with
has been
that.
Lots of fun for me, and I owe you a song.
Oh,
You said you were
I
gonna
owe
sing.
you a song. It won't be the one you want because that's just too high right now. I'm not ready for that.
I
But
would
I'll
love
give you
this.
what. Are you ready to close the show?
We're not closing right now.
Okay.
Well, how about if we have you close with the song?
There you go.
So right now, why don't you tell everyone out there anything new tell everyone about your one-man show. Tell everybody what's really happening with you today, how they can find you.
Yeah, I was gonna say how they can find you.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's see. Debbie has us on every social media out there. So if you want to find out who I am and what I do, go to what are they called? Google, go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go to Vimeo, and or my website, and put my name in, John Monforto. So johnmonforto.com, or put John Monforto on any one of those social media sites, and everything I do will come up. Calendars, you can find out where we're performing, what we're doing. We have, like Jerry said, my one-man show, which is my newest endeavor, and it's really, it's doing quite well. It's called Voices, and the letters stand for versions of impersonations, characters, entertainers, and singers. So I do a lot of different things within that. So it really, I do TV characters, I do movie characters, I do Broadway characters, and I do singers. So it's a very all-inclusive type of program, and we were going to trim it down and do a separate little Broadway thing. But if I do all Broadway, I won't be able to do that much comedy.
Okay.
So we want to keep the comedy aspect in there. So we kind of push Broadway aside.
If you
would've
want
been-
more Broadway in your, 20, 30 character production, you can choose.
Yeah.
You can pick and choose what characters you would prefer.
That's cool.
That way, everybody's happy. And he hasn't done it yet where he didn't get a standing ovation and didn't get told it was the best show I ever saw in my whole life. That's what that show's getting.
I
from
get it.
I
It's
can't
out of
believe
the
it.
box.
I
That's
really
why.
can't
you
get
know,
over
it's,
the reaction.
I
that
can't either.
that
It's
show
very
does.
different. It's a very different program. You can have anybody go up and do a one-man show, and they sing songs and they do this, but I actually change costumes like that. I step behind, and you'll have some segue of music or video going on, and then I come out as a completely different character in a full costume change as the character. So it's very unique. It's very different, and it is so much fun for me. I know that people are having fun, and that's how I gauge a performance. If I had a great time, I know you did too.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. So we're all over the place. We have a lot of shows in South Florida, which I don't. Well, there's South Floridas out there.
Yeah, you've
all
got-
over the
you-
world.
All over the
You're
world.
all-
People
we
out
have
there.
Australia listening in, guys.
Oh,
We've got our peeps out in Florida,
Good day,
too.
mate.
Kathy
yeah.
Kosu out there, right?
Kathy Kasu, yes.
Wow, that's awesome. So, you know what? Most of the shows that we do are private, corporate shows. Every once in a while, there's a public venue that wants to book us, but right now we don't see a lot of that. But that's okay. And what do we have coming up, Deb? We're at the Poconos, right? We have some shows at the Anthracite Hotel in April.
I thought you weren't allowed to mention that.
No, I am.
we can.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
Word
the
that I made
is
up,
the
we
word that
can't-
she made up.
Okay.
Yes, Ava.
So we have multiple shows there, and the I don't know
Silver
the dates.
Birches.
You know what Jeff Dunham does, right?
No. Silver Birches. So I guess if I don't know the dates exactly, I know they're in April, and then we again in June, and then again in August. We have multiple shows, like 3 in a row, and 3 in a row, and 3 in a row. They're afternoon shows. They have bus tours going out to see the shows. So
There will be a big show coming at the Collingswood Ballroom up in Collingswood, New Jersey. That's going to be a big fundraiser
Oh,
for
right.
Silent Epidemic. The drug rehab.
Wow.
There's so
a
many
lot of
things
stuff. A
coming.
lot of stuff.
And you post all this show information on
All the
online,
on my
right? Okay.
website. If you go to johnmonforto.com,
I
click
try
on the
to keep that
calendar.
up, but
Okay.
And Debbie keeps it up to
Sometimes
date, so everything that's on there is where you can find us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you to everyone here, okay? Ava, I love
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Jerry.
you so
Love you
much.
too.
And thank you so much for this introduction.
You're welcome.
Debbie, I am really honored that you came onto my show with him.
God, I
Yeah,
can't
I am
believe you
too.
asked me.
Thank you,
you.
sweetheart.
Thank you.
And John, what can I say? What can I say? How you doing?
How you doing?
I want to tell everybody out there what's happening with me. Some really cool stuff is going on. So I'm on 3 radio networks now. I'm with PANJ Radio one Wednesday afternoon a month. I'm with Beverly Nation Talk Show Radio every other Monday night. I was just on last night, 10 p.m. with Brother O, Rob Bell with PANJ, and of course where it all started right here, Hamilton Radio. Doc G started this over 20 years ago in his basement. He now has 2 other partners, Ruben, right? And tell everyone about that.
Yeah, we're always looking for more partners too.
Who's the other one? Ruben and who?
Ruben and Monk.
And Monk, Sam
Oh, I don't know
Saunders.
him. Do I?
Yeah, he played
He
for.
he played the
keyboards.
Frankie's keyboards the other night.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know who
He's
that is.
a great accomplished musician as well.
Amazing. And they cover D-Train songs.
Yes.
He couldn't wait to meet him. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to say is this. I broke another amazing record last night.
I saw that.
It was unbelievable. On Beverly Nation, almost 360,000 listeners last night, guys. D-Train was also one of my guests.
Great.
Thank you, sweetie.
Yes.
That's
And
great.
Walt Sanders, he's an amazing ETA.
Yeah, Walt Sanders is great.
And I just want to, say thank you to everybody out there who listened. And I have a message for you, Gino, from Brother O, the owner of Beverly Nation. He said to tell you thank you. He said if it wasn't for you, none of this would be happening with me. And he found me through you, and he just wants you to know that you'll always be a part of us as well on Beverly Nation. And
Ooh,
yep,
nice.
we're all
In one
connected.
way
And
or
he said
another,
to,
that's
he
why.
said to tell you that. He called me last night after
To
the
our
show.
success, to everybody's success. His
You know?
success, her success, her
It's
success,
amazing.
your success.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's amazing what
Helps
we're
everybody.
creating.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time, but
know?
it's so true.
So, you brought up addiction. So everyone out there that knows me knows I'm the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. You can find it on Amazon. It's everywhere, guys. Buy my book. It's $10. All proceeds go to help families of addicts. I'm doing a fundraiser. I don't have a date yet. It will be this summer. It will be at Friendly's. This will be like my third or fourth fundraiser there.
Oh, it's amazing over there.
Okay.
It's amazing what you're doing over there. I love it.
And here's what we're going to do this time. Robbinsville Township, where I've been for 45 years, that's where my heart belongs. Robbinsville Township has a program called CARE. And Scott Kivett and Jody Goldstein, they started this. Scott and Jody did such an amazing, amazing, amazing thing where if you're caught in Robbinsville with drugs in your car or you get pulled over, they won't just arrest you. They will offer you care. They will ask you if you want help immediately. I did a drive-along with Scott, and not only did this woman have heroin in her car and needles, I was totally impressed that he knew on the other side of the highway. It was 8 o'clock at night. It wasn't even in the middle of the night. There were so many cars that car was probably one of them. I couldn't believe it. And he offered her help immediately, and she accepted it. So that's what we are trying to do.
Nice.
I'm going to do my next benefit for that program. Okay, guys? So I want to read a poem out of my book because a lot of you out there are listening to me and saying, I don't want to help drug addicts and I don't want to give any money to them. And, they're drug dealers and they're addicts. Here's what I want to say about that. It can happen to anyone, okay? You don't have to be someone that you assume is a terrible, bad person. It happens to all of us, okay? Addiction is real, and it's not just drugs. It's not just alcohol. It's food, it's sex, it's porn, whatever it is, anything that can ruin your life. Games. I hear someone's addicted to games. Someone came up to me at an event and said, I need your book. He's addicted to the coins that you get on the games, collecting the coins. Okay, craziness. So all that means to me, though, is there's underlying issues. Here's the thing about my book. I tell it like it is. I'm straightforward. My book is not for wimps. If you go on my YouTube, you'll see a video that I had done by an amazing young woman named GERI Petito.
No relation.
No relation. Okay, she did this video for me for free. She's a beautiful young woman, and it's called My Book Ain't for Wimps. Addiction is not a disease. Hear me. Addiction is not a disease. It is a dis-ease of the brain. While you're doing anything too much, right? You do have a problem. Your brain cells do change. The problem with calling it a disease and the problem with telling an addict they have a disease is that now they are labeled and they believe it, and then they'll feel they can never get better. See? If you tell an addict they have a dis-ease of the brain cells at this moment, but it can be corrected, that will give them hope. Here's why AA, there's a big contradiction here because they tell the addict that you are powerless over your addiction, okay? And you have a disease. But then they tell the family members, your child who has this disease and who are powerless over their disease, right? You have to let them hit rock bottom. Don't help them. Throw them out. Don't give them money. Don't give them food. Just get rid of them. Let them hit rock bottom. Think about how ridiculous that sounds. If your child truly had a disease, okay, would you kick them to the curb and not give them money, not give them food? And no. So it can't be right. It can't be right.
I agree.
And I'm here to tell you I'm proof. Okay? 27 years ago, I'm going to tell this story just so you guys could connect with what I'm saying. Okay, 27 years ago, I had a beauty salon. I have an amazing family. One of my closest friends was a municipal court judge and also a client of my beauty salon. I had a 1990 Eldorado gold and black Cadillac with Elvis license plates. Imagine that car in the middle of Trenton, 1 o'clock in the morning, copping heroin. Imagine that. So an unmarked police car was following us. They watched the drug dealer leave his house, get in my car because he didn't have any heroin. We had to go 2 blocks. Me and a friend of mine were in the car, and we had to go 2 blocks and get the heroin. The cop is watching him go into another house, get back in my car, pulls me over. Those Elvis license plates saved my life because I used to be at the courthouse having lunch with the judge often. The judge is still in my life. He called the judge, and she said, "Tell Jerry to go home and get some sleep, get that guy out of her car." No one knew how bad my addiction was or what was even going on back then. Okay? I was what you might call a functioning addict until I couldn't function anymore. And that was one of the nights I realized I could no longer function. So I put myself in a rehab. I put myself in Princeton House. Here's what happened. I had to go to meetings. I leave there, and I had to go to meetings every day for a month, get a sponsor, and stand up there and say, "Hi, I'm Jerry. I'm an addict. I'm powerless over my addiction." I wanted to shoot myself. I took it to God. I said, "Lord, this is not going to keep me healthy. This is not going to keep me from not using. All they do is talk about drugs and alcohol, and all I want to do now is go home and use." So I changed my life. I'm not telling anyone not to go to meetings if they need the meetings and if you don't have other support. Please don't take that for what I'm saying to you. For me, I had a very huge support system, thank God. And I also had God. So I stopped all that. That was craziness for me. Changed my life entirely around. Okay, now, here's how remarkable God is. 27 years later, I get a call in the middle of the night from someone, a woman that I didn't know was an alcoholic, who's also in the media. She tells me she's an alcoholic. She wants to die. I picked her up in the middle of the night, brought her to emergency room. Long story short, she got into Princeton House. She calls me from Princeton House, where I was 27 years ago, guys. She said, "Jerry, your book's going around. 8 people here want your book." I said, "Well, I want to see you anyway, and I'm going to come there with my books." So as I got closer and I'm pulling up to Princeton House, I got a little emotional. I've never been back to that building in 27 years. So I called my daughter, and I'm like, "Tiff, just talk to me a minute, you know?" So I take pictures of the building. I walk in, and it was like God saying, "Show your books." Someone took a photo of me holding my books up 27 years later at the same building I went to for addiction. Tell me God isn't good. Tell me God isn't good. So I'm going to read one of the poems out of this book so you get a real good idea of what the addict is really like, and maybe you want to help them. Okay, guys. Change, your choice. I had a life-changing moment that I knew had to be. The only way to change things was to first start with me. So I looked in the mirror and woke up one day and thought to myself I needed to pray. So I asked God to change me, to help me stay strong, to clean up my mess, to right what's been wrong. I cleaned up my diet, I cleaned up my room, I cleaned up all habits with this old dirty broom. I kept going forward and never looked back. I refused to derail, stayed on the right track. I realized my worth and all that did matter through my selfish behavior, the lives I had shattered. I finally decided at 30 years old to stop abusing my body, my mind, heart, and soul. My life-changing choice that I had once made, over 27 years now, guys, my debt has been paid. So you read all my thoughts on how to stay clean. It's all or nothing, my friend. There's no in between. To live or to die is a choice you must make. Your life is not worthless. You're not a mistake. One day at a time is a slogan you've heard. It works if you work it while applying his word. For you to get healthy, for your mind not to fail, escaping reality will keep you in jail. With addictive behavior, sex, drugs, food, or money, substituting addictions, now isn't that funny? I'm not an addict. This too shall pass. I'm not an addict. I'm just an ass. So, this is for you guys. I'm going to
Thank you
autograph
so
it for
much.
you.
Thank you.
So,
So when is the benefit? When is the fundraiser?
I don't have a date. It will be in the
Oh, you
summertime.
said,
We're
yeah,
going to
okay.
pick a date. And, of course, I'll be out there with it, and everyone will know. So I hope you guys buy my book. Proceeds will go to this for the CARE program. And I want to say thank you to everybody out there who has supported me. So we're going to close the show with a special song. I'm not sure which one it is, but he's got a special song for me.
Well, after that poem, there's only one song that I could do, one Elvis song I can do that I think fits, and that is "The Wonder of You."
Oh, I love that song.
My goodness.
I'm going to cry.
When no one else can understand me, when everything I do is wrong, you give me hope and consolation. You give me strength to carry on, and you're always there to lend a hand in everything I do. That's the wonder of you.
Oh, my God. All right.
Woohoo!
Thank you. God bless you, too.
What a treat to be here.
Oh, my gosh. What an amazing, amazing show.
That was great.
Thank
I
you.
loved it. Love you guys.
And with that, cut the mics, Gino.